my dear taste buddies. What a great day! Welcome again to our very productive and informative discussion. But before we continue with our new lesson, I have a situation. Ishnaira, an online food seller, is selling a yummy burger worth 40 pesos per piece. The production is made of 1/2 kilo ground pork worth 110 pesos, 1 pack sesame seed band worth 16 pesos, 25 ml tomato sauce worth 50 pesos, 1 pack of cheese worth 35 pesos, 1/2 kilo of tomatoes worth 100 pesos, and 1 pack of lettuce worth 100 pesos. Snaira pays a total amount of 411 pesos in all ingredients and was able to make 10 pieces of burger out of those ingredients. Upon analyzation, do you think Ishnaira was able to make a profit out from her product? Was she able to consider the total production cost in selling her yummy burger? Do you think she will be a successful online seller? What do you think? To find out whether Snaira is making profit on her online business, we will be talking today about how to calculate the total production cost of a certain product. My dear students, welcome to our final lesson on this quarter, Computing for Production Cost. But before we go deeper on the details of our discussion, let us first identify our learning objectives. And these are the following. First, you should be able to apply standard procedure in computing for production cost. Second, validate computed production cost. Third, identify the proper costing for each product yield. And lastly, you should be able to compute basic production cost. The production cost can be determined by identifying the different costs in every unit of a product. The two classifications of manufacturing cost in the production of specific goods are indirect and direct cost. Direct cost includes the major components of manufacturing goods and the labor directly required to produce those goods, while indirect cost is referred to as overhead waste and spoilage. Now, I'm going to share with you the standard procedure in computing production cost. For instance, this bill of materials of the papaya pineapple marmalade required to produce 2 pints and cost 298 pesos. The peels of papaya and pineapple considered as the waste, that is 10% of the material cost. Simply multiply the cost by 10%. So we have 298 pesos multiplied by 10% and we have 2 pesos and 98 centavos for the waste. The reject allowance is only half of the waste cost. The half of the waste cost is 1 peso and 49 centavos. And this to get the total cost of 2 pints of papaya pineapple marmalade, which is 202 pesos and 47 centavos. Now, how to get the total cost per unit of the product? Simply divide the total cost of the product by the number of yield to get the cost per unit of the product. I'll show you how. The unit cost of papaya pineapple marmalade is 302 pesos and 47 centavos. Now, simply divide the unit cost by 2. Why 2? 2 is the number of yield, and yield refers to how much you will have of a finished one. In this product, we make 2 pints of pineapple marmalade. So 2 pints represent the number of yield. Understand? Okay, let's continue. Divide 302 pesos and 47 centavos to 2, and we have 151 pesos and 24 centavos, and that's the unit cost per product. Those are the things or the standard that we need to do how to compute for production cost. Now, let's move on to the validation of computed production cost according to enterprise production requirements. Accurate records are important to industry. It will serve as reference data on the material used. A basis for further planning will determine the economic viability of the product and greatly helps in making decisions. At this point, let us take a look on the sample production cost report and discuss each components. The sample product that we are going to use is the papaya pineapple marmalade. Since we already know the ingredients, the total cost, and the quantity of each ingredient. So first thing, we need to identify the raw materials and ingredients, the quantity, the weight, and the cost of ingredients. The ingredients that we need are ripe pineapple, ripe papaya, sugar, lemon rind, and lemon juice. Next, we need to identify how much or the quantity, the weight, and the cost of each ingredients. For the pineapple, we need 2 cups. It weighs 300 grams and it costs 160 pesos. For the ripe papaya, we need 2 cups. It weighs 300 grams and costs 60 pesos. Next, for the sugar, we need 4 cups. It weighs 600 grams and costs 58 pesos. For the lemon rind, we need 1 1/2 teaspoon and it weighs 7.5 ml and costs 5 pesos. And lastly, for the lemon juice, we need 1/4 cup. It weighs 37.5 grams and it costs 15 pesos. The next step is we're going to total all the cost of all the raw materials or the ingredients, and it total 298 pesos. The second component that we need to consider is the packaging materials. So we need 2 pieces of preserving jars, and it costs 20 pesos. Next is we need also to have a label of your product. So we need 2 pieces, and it costs 2 pesos. So the total amount for our packaging materials is 22 pesos. The third component that we need to consider is the overhead expenditure. In this product, we need fuel or LPG for cooking, and let's say it costs 2 pesos. Next is transportation. Let's say it costs 7 pesos. And lastly, the water. It costs 5 pesos, for example. And the total for the overhead expenditure is 14 pesos. And now, let's going to sum up the amount of each components. For the raw materials, the ingredients we have the total amount of 298 pesos. For the packaging materials, we have the total amount of 22 pesos. And lastly, the overhead expenditure total amount is 14 pesos. And we're going to add those 3 total amount to get the grand total, which is 334 pesos. Next up, since we already have the grand total amount, let's proceed to the fourth component. Identify the finished product, and we have 2 pins of papaya pineapple marmalade with a net weight of 1 liter. Next, the fifth component is the markup percentage, which is 10% of the grand total amount. The 10% of 334 pesos is 33 pesos and 40 centavos. The next step is we're going to add the 10% markup to our grand total. So we have the overall total amount of 367 pesos and 40 centavos. Then, after that, we're going to divide it by 2 to get the selling price. And we have 183 pesos and 7 centavos in each jar. That ends our discussion for today. But before going to our formative assessment, let's go back first to our questions raised before we begin our lesson. I presented you a situation about Shnaira, an online seller, selling her yummy burger worth 40 pesos each and making 10 pieces of yummy burger out from a total production cost in ingredients worth 411 pesos. Computing the production cost of each burger without considering the overhead expenditure, it will give us 41 pesos and 10 centavos each burger. Therefore, Snaira was not able to gain profit from her business, having a deficit of 1 peso and 10 centavos per piece of her product, considering only her total cost in ingredients. Is she an effective online seller? I don't think so. With this, we can conclude how important to consider the total production cost of your product before making your selling price. And at this point, to test if you really understand our lesson, I want you to answer this formative assessment. For your assessment, assuming that you are an entrepreneur that is about to launch a product to sell in the market, create a proposal based on your chosen product, show the procedure and how to do a product and the production cost. Follow this format: product name, recipe and the procedure, production cost, yield per serving. And lastly, design and create your own logo and label of your chosen product. Submit your work using your account through vSmart platform, or for the students who are in distance learning with Learning Kit, compile your 1-week output and submit it on the day I will ask you to submit. That ends our discussion today. I hope you learned much from our lesson. I am Sir Johan Cuadra, your T.L.E teacher, leaving you with a saying: always remember that our present situation is not our final destination. The best is yet to come. See you on the next quarter. Take care, God bless, and happy learning!